Everybody's still fired up about that win Saturday against Auburn in basketball. And we're going to talk a little hoops on the show today, but we're going to get into Alabama football. We're going to do a spring practice report week 1, kind of tell you where Alabama sits right now, offense, defense, talk a little special teams, and then some of those players that helped Alabama to a sensational basketball season heading into the SEC tournament were honored by the coaches today. We'll get into that. So all that right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel, brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, and hey, look at this. Got the gear in. Hats, got calendars from New Life Art. We're giving them away for people that like, subscribe, like I ask you every single day, thumbs up, and comment. You do those things, and we're going to pick people out randomly. We already did. And this is the Coker. Look at that. You got to have camouflage on the Bama Tailgate hat if it's the Coker. All right, let's get this thing started. And again, thank you guys for hanging out today, and roll tide. Let's go. Get the show going. Roll Tide, everybody, and welcome to the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Here I am, Mick Gillespie. Great to see you guys, and thank you for being a part of everything that we do on a daily basis. And we got some awards. I mean, look at this right here, man. I mean, get the view. Get that view. Yeah. I mean, how sweet is that hat? Well, we got 4 different styles that we're going to be giving away randomly to you guys. You can also buy one for $25. So take advantage of the, of the easy to do. Like, subscribe, comment, and thumbs up. Be a part of what we do, and we're going to reward you guys. We appreciate everyone for being. All right, let's talk about what's going on right now at Alabama football practice, because here we are, week 1 in the books, and I'm going to give you my breakdown of what's going on and, through 1 week. Now, what can you glean from a week? Well, first off, you got a new offensive coordinator in Ryan Grubb, and it seems like it is a real fit for Alabama to have him out there because of what he's able to bring to the table with that high-moving and confident offense. So Coach DeBoer and his high-powered offense going hard at the complex, getting ready for the start of, what could be the 2025 season and hopefully a trip to the college football playoff. There's Coach Grubb right there talking offense and getting ready. All right, let me start with the Tide offense, as you see, Coach Grubb. Quarterback-wise, Bama with 2 guys that are competing for the starting quarterback job, and then one that is being really thought of as maybe the next guy in line. And, of course, I'm talking about Keelon Russell, the very highly touted quarterback who Ryan Grubb just could not talk enough about. He was so pumped up about what he brought to the table for this team. And Ty Simpson, being the quarterback that really feels like Alabama is going to rely on. And Grubb talked about all of these guys, kind of what they brought to the table. I mean, we really don't know a whole lot about, the race, except we know that that Grubb said that he was excited about the job that Ty has done, and it made a biggest jump from the first practice to the second practice. And he's taking all the information in, processing it quickly, moving. Austin, who came with these guys from Washington, has done a great job of showing command for a young player, talked about being an awesome guy, unflappable, but he's also the guy that played under Michael Penix, and they love Michael Penix, got them to the national championship, and they kind of, Penix was with them in Indiana, and then, was with them when they came to Tuscaloosa, as we continue to watch drills here. And there's Kalen DeBoer, got the whistle. Hey, everybody, let's go. And then Keelon Russell, who they're excited about. Big smile on their face. You talk about a player who they just know has all of the intangibles, someone that is the future of the program. And it's exciting kind of to start there with the offense, kind of where that you have, obviously 3 guys that you feel really good about at the quarterback spot. Different levels of development, but that's the way that the position goes as we watch some passes being thrown there in practice. Now, the best group that Alabama has, I think, on the offense through 1 week of practice is wide receiver. I mean, we're really excited about wide receiver. Lotzeir Brooks, the freshman, trying to do the Ryan Williams, making a bunch of plays. Everyone's fired up about what he can do. That if you go out there and prove you can play, that Coach DeBoer and those guys will get you on the field. I think that's exciting. I think that's a big deal because, at the end of the day, Ryan Williams proved that these guys will put you in if you can contribute, right? Then from there, you got, Ryan Williams, you got Isaiah Horton, the transfer from Miami, a guy that can make a lot of plays. You figure he's probably going to be somewhere in that third receiver spot. Jermaine Bernard, who was so good last year, Mr. Consistency. It feels like he's going to be a big time contributor. But you look down the line, we don't even talk a lot about Jalen Mbakwe, Derek Meadows, who came in as a true freshman, Cole Adams and Hampton. I mean, you go through and there's a bunch of guys that can make plays at the wide receiver spot. And I think that that's the most comfortable position that Alabama has. Now, when you kind of switch gears a little bit and you talk about the offensive line room, I think that's where you're kind of getting into a spot where, we can really look at this team and try to figure out, where there could be a weakness and who's going to step up. One of the players that Alabama really needs to be good on the offensive line is Wilkin Formby. We've seen him a little bit pop up on the Tide That Binds show, and he's a player that struggled last year, started to figure it out. You wonder what is going to happen at that right tackle spot. Formby's one of those players who could possibly be a candidate to start. He was there last year. And then the other question that I have on the offensive line is amongst some of these really big prospects that are part of this year's recruiting class and signing class, right? Michael Carroll, 5-star, Jackson Lloyd, 5-star. Can they come in as true freshmen, make an impact? Could Casey Poe be a guy that could help out at right tackle? And then the transfers, including Texas A&M transfer, Cam Dewberry. Could he be the guy that comes in and maybe, helps Alabama replace Booker? There's the offensive line is an area where Alabama has got to get better. I don't feel like they have been as consistent as they need to be. I think you guys will feel the same way since 2020. And, those are, to me, the areas on the offensive line, on the offensive side of the ball that we needed to talk about right now. We'll get into running backs later. I think we all kind of know what we're getting in that spot. But I feel pretty comfortable in the running back room, for Alabama. Now let's switch over to defense. And again, you're talking about a secondary that has a ton of talent. And that, to me, you almost hate talking about it because you don't want some of these other programs to swoop in and start picking off some. But Alabama, the secondary feels like it's definitely going to be one of the strengths of this team. And remember all those guys when Saban retired and, and Coach Robinson went to Georgia, all seemed to scatter. They lost Caleb Downs. They lost players to, it seems like, all their rivals out of the secondary, Ole Miss and Auburn and everywhere else. And they ended up doing a pretty good job last year. Keon Sabb transferred in from Michigan and did a good job, dealt with some injuries. But when you look at the secondary right now, Kane Womack's got to be gushing about, first off, Dijon Lee Mustard, tall cornerback that just has all the looks, 5-star, and a guy who's is going to contribute early. And then the transfer from Utah, Cam Calhoun, who's been getting great rave reviews in practice so far. But Ivan Taylor, freshman, dad was an NFL star. Zay Mincy in that secondary as well. Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., his dad was so amazing. And then Bray Hubbard. I love Bray Hubbard. He was a guy last year that when Alabama needed somebody to step up, he did it. Remember when Sabb went down and was such a big contributor to the Alabama secondary, and all those guys are back. Now, the defensive line to me is maybe not quite as deep as the secondary, but has some big time stars on there. And it starts with LT Overton, who is just tremendously talented and a guy that is going to be, so important to Bama in that bandit position. They got the Florida transfer, Kelby Collins, an Alabama native, who's coming back, and he'll do some things at defensive tackle. And then two guys to keep an eye on: Keelon Keeley, finally starting to come into his own. Jordan Renaud, another guy that Alabama is going to depend on. And then the two guys that Alabama, Tim Keenan, I thought was amazing in his conversation with the media. A couple of days ago. I loved it. He's talking about not living up to the Bama standard. He's going to have his hands, I think, as a captain out in front of Denny Chimes one day. Love what he said, and I believe in him. He's exciting. And then backing him up, you talk about Edric Hill and Jeremiah Beeman. If those guys can continue to kind of, give Keenan, James Smith some, an opportunity to rest and get in there, and Bama can have a big rotation, this defense could be really, really good. And that's exciting to know that the Crimson Tide are kind of building this defense in a direction that is, they might go in the transfer portal to add a little bit of depth. You wonder how that's going to look at the end of practice. But these guys, a lot of these guys have come back. They could have left for the NFL, and they want to make sure that Alabama is Alabama when they leave again. And it's gotten tougher with obviously with NIL and the transfer portal to dominate. But, just kind of having that same mentality as you watch these wide receivers that matters, and, running backs catching the ball. It's important to go out there and uphold that standard at the university. So that's exciting stuff for Alabama as we kind of, kick this thing forward. Now, the one thing that is I'm a little concerned, as you see two of me there, about Bama's special teams. And that was an area last year we felt like was going to be a big advantage for the Crimson Tide. The punter, the long snapper, two of the best players on the team. The field goal kicker was the best in the country the year before. Bama's kind of got to rebuild that whole area. It's a spot that we're keeping an eye on. And it's an area of concern. I will tell you that right now, just knowing how that thing's going to pan itself out before the end of the season. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is hoops, and congratulations to Mark Sears, first team All SEC. Probably the toughest year I can ever remember to be first team in the SEC. Really amazing. And Labaron, Philon, all freshmen in the SEC, but both guys recognized by the SEC coaches. Auburn took a lot of these awards home, but Bama can still win the prize that matters most, and that's the national championship. They set their goal out to do that. They play Friday in the SEC tournament in Nashville. I know some of you guys will be out there to watch the Tide roll, hopefully. And hey, to me, that's what I'm thinking, that these guys put all that time in to get there, and now they have the opportunity, and we'll see what they can do with it. So hopefully that means they don't miss their chance to win it all, and you guys, I'm going to tell you guys here in a second about Pearl River Resort, where you can go and put your money down on Alabama. Look, at this hat still got the sticker on. I'm going to tell you why in a second. But first, brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. We're going to be there for our bracket show coming up this Sunday, 5 o'clock at the Timeout Sports Lounge. Bo Bounds, Catfish, me. The three of us will be breaking down the bracket, talking some basketball, getting you ready for the postseason. And it'll be at the Timeout Sports Lounge in Golden Moon Casino, Pearl River Resort. So make sure that you plan on hanging out with us then. And also, table games and slots, Golden Moon Casino, and same thing with Silver Star. Silver Star Convention Center is going to have Blue Oyster Cult. Then you got Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, the Augusta you can play. Hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours and change from Birmingham and other points. Now, the final thing I want to say is this. There it is. There's the hat, the close-up on the Daniel Moore, newlifeart.com, promo code Bama Tailgate. Now, I'm giving away some New Life Art calendars, 2025 calendars, saving on there, and some of these hats. Sometimes they'll be together. Sometimes they'll just be the hat or the calendar. but we're giving prizes away for like, subscribe, thumbs up, and commenting. You got to do those 4 things, and you're automatically entered. We had our first winner yesterday. But newlifeart.com, and look, you want to to pimp out your man cave, as I call it, we got you covered. The Super Bowl Eagles, the Roll Eagles Roll. Yep. They are featured on 2 of these amazing prints, 25% off when you use the promo code Bama Tailgate, 25% off. You got to put it in where it says, hey, where'd you hear about it at the beginning? Click us, Bama Tailgate, get to the end, use that promo code Bama Tailgate. You get 25% off of whichever one of these or both. I mean, hey, they're not going to stop you from buying both of them, but there it is. 25% off Bama Tailgate. Crimson Redemption, Jalen Hurts running in to beat Georgia after relieving Tua. And then there's Heisman Heights when Devontae Smith went skying for that football against LSU and won the Heisman. That was kind of the signature moment. That was the Heisman moment for him in that one. So anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. We will do it again with you tomorrow right back here on the channel. And appreciate everyone as we talk football on a daily basis. Roll Tide.
To Pearl River Resort.